I'm going to tell you something your parents probably never taught you, something your teachers never mentioned, and something most motivational speakers won't admit. The biggest lie we've been sold is that hard work alone leads to success. Millions of people work hard every day and stay broke their entire lives. The janitor works hard, the construction worker works hard, the single mother working 2 jobs works incredibly hard. But working hard at the wrong things, with the wrong mindset, in the wrong direction, will keep you exactly where you are forever. Success isn't about working harder than everyone else. It's about thinking differently than everyone else and acting on that different thinking every single day. Here's something that changed my life forever. There comes a moment when you stop waiting for success to find you and you start acting like it already belongs to you. Not pretending, mind you. Not putting on some fake show, but genuinely shifting how you think, how you move, how you make decisions every single day. You see, most people have it backwards. They think success comes first, then the confidence, then the habits, then the lifestyle. But I'm here to tell you it works the other way around. Success is an inside job. It starts with how you see yourself and how you act on that vision long before anybody else can see what you see. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years I was waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to give me permission, waiting for the perfect moment when everything would line up just right. And you know what happened during all that waiting? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because while I was waiting for success to arrive, success was waiting for me to act like I deserved it. The turning point came when I met my mentor, and he asked me a simple question. He said, "Jim, if you were already successful, how would you spend your day today?" That question hit me like a bolt of lightning. I realized I had been living like a person who hoped to be successful someday, instead of living like a person who was already on the path. There's a big difference between pretending and preparing. Pretending is putting on a show for other people. Preparing is putting in the work for yourself. When you act as if success is already yours, you're not trying to fool anyone. You're aligning your daily actions with your long-term vision. You're becoming the person who naturally attracts the success you want. Think about it this way. If you knew without a doubt that you would be running $1 million company 5 years from now, how would you prepare yourself today? What books would you read? What skills would you develop? What kind of people would you spend time with? What would you stop doing? What would you start doing? The answer to those questions tells you exactly how to act as if success is already yours. Because success isn't something that happens to you overnight. It's something you grow into day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. Successful people think about time differently than everyone else. They don't live in the past, wishing things were different. They don't live in some fantasy future, hoping things will change. They live in the present, but they make present choices based on their future vision. When you act as if success is already yours, you start making different decisions about how you spend your time. You stop watching 3 hours of television every night because successful people don't have time for that. You start getting up earlier because successful people know that how you start your day determines how your day goes. You start reading books instead of scrolling through social media because successful people are always learning. It shows up in the small things too. How you dress matters. How you carry yourself matters. How you speak matters. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because these things shape how you feel about yourself. And how you feel about yourself determines what kind of action you take. I remember when I started dressing better, even when I didn't have much money, people asked me why I spent money on good clothes when I could barely pay my bills. But I understood something they didn't. I was investing in the person I was becoming. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw someone who was serious about success. Every time I walked into a room, I felt like I belonged there. The language you use changes too. Instead of saying, "I hope this works out," you start saying, "when this works out." Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be successful," you start saying, "I'm building my success." Small changes in language create big changes in mindset. Your environment needs to match your vision as well. If your goal is to build wealth, you can't keep surrounding yourself with people who complain about money all the time. If your goal is to be healthy, you can't keep junk food in your house. If your goal is to start a business, you need to create a workspace that inspires you to do your best work. This brings me to one of the most important investments you can make, the investment in yourself. When you act as if success is already yours, you don't wait to start learning. You don't wait to start growing. You don't wait to start becoming the person who can handle the success you want. Successful people are readers. They read every day, not because they have to, but because they understand that leaders are readers. They know that the books you read today will determine the thoughts you think tomorrow, and the thoughts you think tomorrow will determine the actions you take, and the actions you take will determine the results you get. But it's not just about reading. It's about constantly improving yourself in every area. Your skills, your knowledge, your character, your relationships. When you act as if success is already yours, you invest in yourself like your future depends on it, because it does. You start spending time with people who are where you want to be, not to use them, but to learn from them, to see how they think, how they solve problems, how they handle challenges. You realize that you become like the people you spend the most time with, so you choose carefully. Here's something most people don't understand about personal development: the compound effect. Small improvements made consistently over time create massive results. Reading 30 minutes a day doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that's over 100 books. Over 10 years, that's 1,000 books. Show me someone who has read 1,000 books on success, wealth, and personal development, and I'll show you someone who is successful. The same principle applies to everything. Working out for 30 minutes a day, saving 10% of your income, learning one new skill every few months, writing in a journal every morning. These small actions by themselves don't change your life, but compounded over time, they transform you into a completely different person. Most people want to make huge changes all at once. They want to go from 0 to 60 overnight. But that's not how success works. Success is built on small, consistent actions, done day after day, year after year. When you act as if success is already yours, you have the patience to play the long game. But let me be honest with you. Acting as if success is already yours isn't always easy. There will be people who don't understand what you're doing. They'll think you're getting ahead of yourself. They'll try to bring you back down to their level. That's when you have to remember that their opinion of you is none of your business. There will be setbacks too. Days when nothing goes right. Weeks when you feel like you're moving backwards instead of forwards. Months when you question whether you're on the right path. This is normal. This is part of the process. The difference between successful people and everyone else is how they handle these challenging times. When you truly act as if success is already yours, you understand that setbacks are temporary. You don't let a bad day become a bad week. You don't let a bad week become a bad month. You get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Because you know that every successful person has faced these same challenges. The key is to measure progress, not just outcomes. If you're only measuring outcomes, you'll be discouraged most of the time, because outcomes take time to show up. But progress happens every day. Every book you read is progress. Every skill you develop is progress. Every relationship you build is progress. When you focus on progress instead of just outcomes, you stay motivated even when the big results haven't shown up yet. You understand that you're building something. You're becoming someone. And that process is just as important as the final destination. Now let me give you some practical steps you can take starting today. First, decide what success looks like for you. Be specific. Don't just say you want to be wealthy. Say you want to earn a specific amount. Don't just say you want to be healthy. Define what healthy means to you. You can't act as if you've achieved something if you don't know what that something is. Second, start your day like a successful person would start their day. Get up early. Read something educational. Exercise. Plan your day. Eat a healthy breakfast. Dress well. Successful people don't stumble out of bed and hope the day goes well. They take control of their morning. which gives them control of their day. Third, make decisions from your future self, not your current self. Before you make any significant decision, ask yourself, what would the successful version of me do in this situation? Then do that, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's difficult, especially if it's difficult. Fourth, invest in yourself every single day. Read for at least 30 minutes. Listen to educational audio programs while you're driving. Attend seminars and workshops. Take courses. Learn new skills. The person you become in the process of pursuing success is more valuable than the success itself. Fifth, build relationships with people who are already where you want to be. Don't be afraid to reach out. Most successful people are willing to help others who are serious about improving themselves. But don't just ask for help. Offer value first. Think about what you can give before you think about what you can get. Sixth, create an environment that supports your vision. Clean up your workspace. Organize your home. Surround yourself with books, quotes, and images that inspire you. Remove things that hold you back or remind you of old limiting beliefs. Your environment should reinforce the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. Seventh, track your progress. Keep a journal. Write down what you're learning, what you're doing, and how you're growing. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge improvements. When you can see your progress on paper, it becomes real. It becomes motivation to keep going. The most important thing to remember is this: success is not a destination. It's a way of being. It's not something you achieve once and then you're done. It's something you live every single day. When you truly understand this, you realize that you can start being successful right now, today, this moment. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for the perfect circumstances. You don't have to wait for someone else to believe in you. You can start acting as if success is already yours, because in the most important sense, it is. It's yours the moment you decide to claim it and start living like you deserve it. Here's what I want you to understand about acting as if success is already yours. It's not about being arrogant or overconfident. It's about having an unshakable belief in your ability to create the life you want. It's about walking through the world with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're doing everything necessary to succeed. When you truly adopt this mindset, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for someone else to change your life for you. You take complete responsibility for where you are and where you're going. And that shift in responsibility is the beginning of real power. Let me tell you about the power of consistency. Most people are like the person who goes to the gym for a week and expects to see dramatic results. When they don't see immediate changes, they quit. But success doesn't work that way. Success is like compound interest. It builds slowly at first, then accelerates over time. When you act as if success is already yours, you have the patience and discipline to be consistent. You understand that reading one book won't make you educated, but reading a book a month for 10 years will make you one of the most knowledgeable people in your field. You understand that one workout won't make you fit, but working out consistently for years will transform your body and your health. The same principle applies to building wealth. $1 saved won't make you wealthy, but saving and investing consistently over decades will create financial freedom. One sale won't build a business, but focusing on providing value to customers day after day, year after year, will build an empire. Consistency is the mother of mastery. And mastery is what separates the successful from everyone else. When you master your craft, when you master your mindset, when you master your habits, success becomes inevitable. But mastery requires something that most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to do the boring work, the unsexy work, the work that nobody sees. It requires you to practice when you don't feel like practicing, to study when you'd rather be entertained, to work when others are playing. This is where acting as if success is already yours becomes crucial, because when you see yourself as already successful, you don't need external motivation to do the work. You don't need someone to push you or encourage you or hold you accountable. You do the work because successful people do the work. Period. Let me talk about something else that's important. The people in your life. When you start acting as if success is already yours, you'll notice that some relationships change. Some people will be supportive and encouraging. They'll celebrate your growth and cheer you on. Keep these people close. They're rare and valuable. But others will try to pull you back down. They'll make jokes about your new habits. They'll question your goals. They'll try to convince you that you're being unrealistic. These people aren't necessarily bad people. They're just uncomfortable with change. Your growth reminds them of their own lack of growth, and that makes them defensive. You have a choice to make. You can stay at their level to make them comfortable, or you can keep growing and risk losing some relationships. I'm telling you, choose growth. Always choose growth. The right people will grow with you or celebrate your growth from a distance. The wrong people will try to hold you back. This doesn't mean you should be arrogant or look down on others. It means you should protect your energy and your vision from people who don't understand or support what you're trying to build. You can still love them, but you don't have to let them influence your decision. Speaking of energy, let me tell you something about the energy you bring to every situation. When you act as if success is already yours, you carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You listen differently. You solve problems differently. You bring a different energy to every room you enter. This energy is magnetic. It attracts opportunities. It attracts resources. It attracts other successful people. Not because you're trying to attract these things, but because successful people naturally gravitate toward others who share their mindset and their commitment to excellence. Your energy also affects how you handle failure and setbacks, and make no mistake, you will face both. Everyone does. The difference is how quickly you bounce back and what you learn from the experience. When you act as if success is already yours, you see failure differently. You don't see it as evidence that you're not cut out for success. You see it as feedback. You see it as education. You see it as part of the process. Some of the most successful people in history failed more than average people ever try. The key is to fail fast, fail cheap, and fail forward. Learn from every mistake. Extract every lesson. Then apply what you've learned to your next attempt. This is how you turn failure into fuel for future success. Now let me share something personal with you. There were times in my life when acting as if success was already mine felt like lying to myself. When the bills were piling up and the bank account was empty, it was hard to maintain that mindset. When people were telling me I was crazy, it was hard to keep believing in my vision. But those were the most important times to maintain the mindset, because that's when it mattered most. Anyone can act successful when everything is going well. The real test is whether you can maintain that belief when everything seems to be falling apart. During those difficult times, I learned something valuable. Your circumstances don't define you. Your response to your circumstances defines you. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you react to what happens to you. When you truly act as if success is already yours, you understand that temporary circumstances are just that, temporary. You don't let a temporary situation create a permanent mindset. You keep your eyes on the long-term vision while taking short-term action. This brings me to another crucial point, the importance of having a clear vision of what success means to you, not what society says success should look like, not what your parents want for you, not what your friends think you should do, what you want to achieve. Your vision needs to be so clear and so compelling that it pulls you forward even when you don't feel like moving. It needs to be detailed enough that you can see it, feel it, and almost taste it. And it needs to be yours, not someone else's dream for your life. Once you have that clear vision, every decision becomes easier. You ask yourself, does this move me closer to my vision or further away from it? If it moves you closer, you do it. If it moves you further away, you don't. It's that simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Living by your vision requires discipline. It requires saying no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. It requires short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. It requires you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Most people aren't willing to be uncomfortable. They want success, but they also want comfort. But I'm here to tell you that success and comfort don't often go together, especially in the beginning. Success requires you to stretch yourself, to do things you've never done, to become someone you've never been. When you act as if success is already yours, you become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You understand that discomfort is the price of growth. You welcome challenges because you know they're making you stronger. You see obstacles as opportunities to prove to yourself what you're made of. Here's something else that happens when you act as if success is already yours. You start to notice opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't see them before. It's like buying a red car and then suddenly seeing red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now you're tuned in to see them. Success works the same way. When your mind is focused on success, when you're thinking like a successful person, when you're acting like a successful person, you start to notice opportunities everywhere. A conversation that can lead to a business partnership. A book that contains exactly the information you need. A person who could become a mentor or a client. Most people miss these opportunities because they're not looking for them. They're focused on their problems instead of their possibilities. They're thinking about what's wrong with their situation instead of what could be right about their future. But when you act as if success is already yours, you develop what I call opportunity awareness. You're always looking for ways to add value. You're always thinking about how to solve problems. You're always asking better questions. And better questions lead to better answers. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Poor people ask, how can I get by? Rich people ask, how can I add value? Unsuccessful people ask, why does this always happen to me? Successful people ask, what can I learn from this? When you change your questions, you change your focus. When you change your focus, you change your results. It's that simple and that powerful. Another thing that changes is your relationship with time. Most people think they don't have enough time. But successful people understand that everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference is how you use those hours. When you act as if success is already yours, you become very protective of your time. You realize that time is your most valuable asset. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So you start making different choices about how you spend it. You stop watching meaningless television shows. You stop having pointless conversations that go nowhere. You stop attending meetings that waste everyone's time. You start being more selective about everything you do. This doesn't mean you become antisocial or stop enjoying life. It means you become intentional about how you spend your time. You make sure that the majority of your time is spent on activities that move you closer to your goals. Let me leave you with this final thought. The person you are today is the result of all the decisions you've made up to this point. The person you'll be 5 years from now will be the result of all the decisions you make from today forward. You have the power to decide who that person will be. Will they be someone who achieved their dreams? Or someone who gave up on them? Will they be someone who took control of their life, or someone who let life happen to them? Will they be someone who acted as if success was already theirs, or someone who waited for permission that never came? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The time is now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. Stop waiting for circumstances to be ideal. Start acting as if success is already yours. Because in the most important way, it already is. The time for waiting is over. The time for hoping is over. The time for wishing is over. The time for action is now. Start today. Start where you are. Start with what you have. But start. Act as if success is already yours, because that's the only way it ever will be. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Don't let that person down. They deserve better. You deserve better. Success is waiting for you to step up and claim it. So what are you waiting for? The life you want is on the other side of the actions you take starting right now.